Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. Look, I am just over the moon when I find these vintage patterns, and look at this beauty. Just look at her expression and her stance. This is from 1955. You can see this is 25 cents. It's a simplicity pattern, and I just like the expression, all the artwork on the front of these packets. There's somebody's name there. So you would go to these seamstresses with your fabric and they would whip up these dresses for you. So you can see this is pretty brittle. The edges are actually kind of falling apart here, and the inside is really a yellowish goldish color, which makes it pretty brittle. The tissue and this little sewing booklet are in pretty good shape. So I'm going to figure out how to put this on a card. And even looking at the different tissue parts here, but you can see this is way too big. The jackets, which I call these pattern packets here, are just too big to really fit on a 5x7 card, but she will with her great attitude. So I'm just going to cut this apart and start looking at what I can do with this wonderful nostalgic artwork. Since these were like drawn and painted originally, they're not photographs of people like the newer patterns. I just love it. I want to make sure I keep all the pieces and parts. When I clipped off that side piece, the 25 cents fell apart. So I'm having to be very, very careful with this pattern. So to get this to fit on a 5x7 card, I'm going to trim very closely around this central figure here. Look at her beautiful dress. So on the back of the packet it says teenage skirt with detachable bib and cummerbund. Simple to make, full gathered skirt may be worn with a detachable bib, view 1, or with the contrasting cummerbund as shown in view 2. In view 1, rickrack, 2 rows of narrow and 1 of medium width, they get really specific here, may trim your skirt and bib. The bib buttons are on the inside of the skirt waistband. Isn't that adorable? So you can see I've got her cut out, but I need to bring over this Westcott retractable razor. This thing is wonderful. Look how, this just cuts so smoothly. I have a leg in one arm area there and part of a skirt in the other, so I decided I needed to cut that out to make this look a little less crazy. See that leg right here inside the arm portion? So by cutting that out, you're going to be able to focus on this young lady with the skirt and the bib. Okay, that Westcott razor pen was from Walmart, and it really is sharp and does a great job. All right, back to the card. 5x8. a 5x7. All the supplies and dimensions that were used in today's card can be found in the description below this YouTube video. I'm going to look at using this little booklet here, and you can see the copyright is 1955. I want to make sure I preserve that. And if I cut around this section very carefully, it will fit perfectly on my 5x7 card base. Perfect. So I'll get that put down. I am going to actually use a glue stick because this paper is so brittle. So I'm going to use a hybrid actually here of a little liquid adhesive and the combination of a glue stick. I need this to stick very well and permanently on the front of that card base. So just being very careful that I don't tear this paper. I'll get that put down. It's going to make a wonderful mat for the front of my card. And it will really showcase the central figure here in her royal skirt. Anything you've got sticking out, just take your scissors and trim that away very quickly. Doesn't take much. This card really goes together pretty quick. All right, that's looking good. And now I'm going to bring over this wonderful little piece that was salvaged from the edge. And again, I will use my glue stick. Now, if you're curious, this gray circular mat is actually a microwave silicone mat. Uh-oh, you see part of my ephemera came off there. Anyway, when you use like this glue stick, it doesn't leave any residue behind, and if it does, it's not going to be sticky, so it really protects your work surface when you're using different types of adhesives. Okay, you can see how fragile this whole thing is that just came off on my finger. I am going to put it back together the best that I can, though, because I want to preserve everything I possibly can from this wonderful 1955 pattern. So if you were watching, when I cut out this central figure, it left two other pieces. One was just a skirt, which is rather weird, and the other one is another lady who was in the background behind her, another teenager, I should say, and I'm going to use that in a project next week, so tune in again if you want to see what I do with the remnants from this pattern. Here it is the pattern number, and it also says a bust size 30. Now this was a size 12 back in the day, and people were tiny in the 50s, but you were a size 12. So I don't know what happened in the US with sizing over the years, but size 12 meant a bust of 30 back in the day. Here again, the ephemera is coming apart, even with just dabbing this with the glue stick. So trying to be very, very careful and do this justice by preserving everything that I can. I love these repurposed projects, but especially these old patterns. I am like addicted to this, folks. It's getting pretty bad, and I get so excited when I see these. Especially a 1955. Now, you know, the thing is, nobody is really going to be interested in that jacket front too much. I've seen some people like frame it and stuff like that. And I don't know how many people are going to recreate using the tissue part of the pattern to wear this skirt and bib thing anywhere. But I'm here to try to save this. I'm going to use this other little portion of the ephemera that I love right here for a little pop of red to balance off that red on the left hand side. And I want to make sure when I put her down onto the card front that I don't cover up that copyright date. I'm going to be very, very careful with her. I'm not pressing down with my glue stick very hard here. I'm just kind of tapping it around because I sure don't want to tear this central figure. Hey, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy some of my videos, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner if you're looking from your laptop. And if you're watching from a cell phone, you can go down below near the video portion between that and the description and hit the subscribe there. I'd love to see you each week. You never know what I'm going to be up to, and I never know what I'm going to be up to. And if you want to leave me a comment, I would appreciate that too. Anyway, I love how she came out. Love everything about this card. And again, I am going to show you what I do with the remnant that was off to the right side of her. Just trying to really be attentive to using all the pieces and parts. So again, thank you for dropping by. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting, everyone.